Bucknutters, welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Friday, March 30th, 2018. I am Dave Biddle, very happy to be joined by Jonah Booker. J-Book, got a chance to talk to Kevin Wilson a couple days ago after practice, and he had some interesting comments on Wednesday. He was asked time and time again about his role, and I think 30 different questions were asked, in a different way about whether or not he took a demotion. And he was adamant that he did not take a demotion. He kept saying the role is exactly the same for him that it was last year. He also kept pointing out that, quote, perception and reality are different, kind of intimating that, maybe Ryan Day isn't ahead of him on the totem pole, despite the title change for Ryan Day, despite both of them got pay raise, but Ryan Day got an exponential pay raise. What do you make of Kevin Wilson's comments?
Yeah, it's a little confusing. They're kind of muddying the water here. I know the media and the fans, they want to know who's the pecking order, what's the pecking order when it comes to the coaches, who's the true offensive coordinator that's calling the plays. I know they will tell you it's a collaborative effort, and if you look at the money and the pay increase, one would have thought that Ryan Day was the one who was going to be the head guy as far as the offensive coordinator, but Kevin Wilson's, his comments, they are a little perplexing. Now, and if I had to make a statement in regards to it, I truly don't believe they know how it's actually all going to play out, considering they're still in spring football. Now, it could be a situation once the season starts that they truly are a two-headed monster when it comes to the offensive coordinator. Kevin Wilson, he's a veteran. He's a prideful guy. I don't think he's going to actually go out to the media and say, yes, sir, I was demoted for the younger up-and-coming coach. I don't think he's going to do that, but it's to be determined. Once the season starts, both guys could be sharing duties, or something could emerge to where Ryan Day is the one who's the primary play caller, the one who's calling the shots. So it's a to-be-determined situation that I think is worth watching.
You make a great point, J-Book. I think these guys, we all assume, they know exactly what's going on. I mean, just think about, any of our jobs. I know their jobs are not like regular jobs, but there's times you're not sure exactly what's going on, and you don't have all the clarity you want. And we think as fans and media that, Ryan Day and Kevin Wilson know exactly what's going on. I mean, this is Urban Meyer's offense. It's very possible that, he's just told these guys everything's status quo, but he had to do a few things to keep Ryan Day to make sure he didn't go to the Tennessee Titans as offensive coordinator. They had to sweeten the pot as far as money, as far as title. So you make a good point that these guys, they might not know until the season rolls around exactly what's going on, and I'll push it a little further. It sounds to me from talking to Kevin Wilson, at least this is what his take on the situation is. It sounds like Wilson believes he's kind of the run game coordinator and Day's kind of the passing game coordinator. I'm kind of paraphrasing what Kevin Wilson said there, but basically he kind of said that he's the running game coordinator and Ryan Day is the passing game coordinator. I found that kind of interesting.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. And actually, if you look at their positions they're coaching, that would make a lot more sense, considering Ryan Day's coaching the quarterbacks. He and Urban Meyer said at the start of spring that Ryan Day was going to be much more involved with the wide receivers. I know you and I had talked on the previous Bucknuts Morning 5 about Ryan Day being involved with the wide receivers, and if that was an indictment on Zach Smith, that he's not necessarily getting the job done when your superior has to step in and help you. So that makes a lot of sense if that's the situation, with Day being more involved with the wide receivers as well as coaching the quarterbacks, and Coach Wilson being primarily involved with the offensive line and tight ends. And so he's going to be involved with those run-blocking schemes, which is going to help him with the running back in the running game situation. So I can definitely see that, but it's going to be interesting. You're going to have both guys, one working with the passing game, one working with the running game. But at the end of the day, when you're playing Michigan in November, who's going to be the guy that's calling the plays from the press box? So that's something that we're all going to be wondering.
Urban Meyer has to veto somebody, right? It can't just be anonymous people. Now I'm kidding, but it really does. You feel like we need to get back to where it was with Tom Herman, where you knew Tom Herman was the play caller, and yeah, Urban could veto him, but you knew it was Tom Herman that was the guy that was at least calling the plays unless Urban vetoed it. But it's going to be interesting to follow that situation with the dynamic of the offensive coaches. But I guess the bottom line is that Ohio State just has one of the best coaching staffs, if not the best coaching staff in the country. We're more than halfway through spring ball now. The spring game, J-Book, is 2 weeks from tomorrow. Very broad question. You can name more than one thing if you'd like to, J-Book, but anything that has surprised you so far this spring?
Yeah, the guy that I really thought was going to emerge this spring, and there were a lot of reports that he was, looking pretty good in winter workouts, was Wyatt Davis, the former five-star Mr. California. And I was reading your last practice report, and, it was questions if Wyatt Davis was even involved with the twos. I know you said that he could have been rotating in there with those guys because they was doing a lot of shuffling, but you would have thought that you'd have heard some noise coming out of the camp in regards to his play. Is he someone that's emerging to the front of the line, considering the lofty rankings that he had coming into the program, especially being Mr. California? So I'm a little surprised about that. And I hope that it's just a situation where he's just going about his business. And, once the true depth charts come out and we see him in the spring game, he really is right there in the thick of things. The other thing that I think surprised me is Brady Taylor looks like he's going to hold off that center position. I was a little skeptical. I really didn't know what to expect from him, considering he hasn't played a lot of football throughout his career. And I thought, they really wanted to give Josh Meyer every opportunity to win that center position, especially with his ability to grind down in the trenches with his size. But all indications sounds like Brady Taylor, he's going to end up winning that position battle. So, and the surprise is, and I'm not necessarily surprised, but I think it's something that's going to continue to have to be monitored, is the linebacker play, especially with Tough Borland going down. The depth at that position is definitely pretty thin when it comes to the mic. And all eyes are on Billy Davis. This guy has to deliver in order for the Silver Bullets defense to be back. I know they're talking about shuffling guys, and that's fine and dandy in the spring, but we need to have that position group playing at an extremely high level if you want to make a legitimate run for another Big Ten crown and potentially a playoff berth. So that's going to be something to continue to monitor, because if they're not getting it done, then this defense is going to be in a lot of trouble, and the question marks and the rant and the raves in regards to Billy Davis will continue to be louder.
A lot of great points right there. Just a couple more things, we'll get you out of here, Jonah. You mentioned some of the offensive linemen there. Another kid from the 2017 class. It's funny, Wyatt Davis and Josh Myers were so highly rated, and there was this other kid that they also got late in the process, Thayer Munford, who looks like he's going to be the stud of that trio, Thayer Munford. And hopefully they all will be studs, all three of them, as far as Wyatt Davis and Josh Meyer and Thayer Munford. But right now it's Thayer Munford running with the first team at right tackle. No surprise there, but such a cool story. And, he still has to hold off other guys that are fighting for the job. But 6'6", 320 pounds, moves well. He's only going to get stronger. I mean, I think this guy, not only is he going to be a starter this year, I think he could be a future star. Just your thoughts on Thayer Munford.
Yeah, it's a great story, and excuse me, as you mentioned, he came in with the other two guys that were much more highly ranked ahead of him. Munford was a guy that was a late qualifier out of Massillon. I know they were banging on the doors to try to get him in as far as qualifying, and he came in to Ohio State. And you can't be nothing more than impressed with the way he's handled his business. He came in with a chip on his shoulder, and the thing about him is I'm really surprised how far along he is as far as his technique to be able to start and get the playing time that he got. So they always tell you you don't want to be able to have to play freshman, but he was right there in that 2 deep, ready to go in at a drop of a dime. He looks like he's going to be the future left tackle. He's going to be an NFL prospect for sure. But it's a great story. Let's see what happens once he really gets the meaningful reps and the bullets are flying live. Let's see how he holds up. But it doesn't seem like there's much competition. Urban pretty much said that he's good with his tackles. Isaiah Prince, they love the way he's emerging as a team leader, and they love the way Thayer Munford is playing.
Last thing, now, we like to take some of the topics from the front row message board, J-Book, and often discuss them here on the Bucknuts Morning 5, some of the more burning topics on our bustling message board. And right now we have a 3-page thread and growing about the quality or lack thereof of City BBQ. A lot of people like City BBQ, a company started right here in Columbus, Ohio. Now, you've been gone from Ohio for a while, so I don't even know how much you've had City BBQ. I didn't give you any heads up about this question, so hopefully you know a little bit about it. You've had it. Push the conversation forward here about City BBQ. J-Book, is City BBQ good, yes or no?
Considering I've had it, and it's been a while since I've had it, but I've also had tremendous barbecue, true barbecue in Texas and Carolina in the South, and that's what you really call true barbecue. So if you're comparing it to them, I would say no. But if you're comparing it to Ohio, I mean, I would just say it's decent. But compared to those heavy hitter type barbecue joints that you find elsewhere, I would definitely grade it a couple steps below that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like if Dwayne Long's having a barbecue, somebody who knows how to smoke their meats at home, like an expert like Dwayne's better than City BBQ. Some hole-in-the-wall barbecue joint that we've all been to that we love, that's better than City BBQ. But for what it is, I think City BBQ's pretty damn solid.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look where it's at. Hey, I would, if somebody say you want to go to City BBQ right now, and I would go. I would definitely go in there and grab myself a meal. Absolutely. So I would say, hey, if you enjoy it, keep eating it. It's almost like the debate with Skyline. Some people like Skyline chili, some people don't, and some people prefer Gold Star over Skyline. It's just all your preference.
That's right. Well, maybe we can just talk food for an entire Bucknuts Morning 5 one time. But great stuff as always out of Jonah Booker. Thank you very much, J-Book. You can read his column every week on Bucknuts. It is outside Columbus. You can catch him on Twitter at JBook37. So thank you very much, J-Book, and thanks to all the listeners out there for tuning into the show. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Let's hear that Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.